Hello everybody, welcome back to my movie review series. Today we'll be discussing and breaking down the unbearable weight of massive talent. Nick Cage playing Nick Cage. I was scrolling through the box office this week. Nothing I was super excited to see. But I wanted to keep making some content. So we have, at the box office we had, let's see. But again, just got back from watching it. We do the typical thing. I'll give you my overall grade first in case you want to go see the movie and have not, just to get my overall impressions. I'll be giving you the plot synopsis and character development and similar movies. Basically the ones similar to this ones I think recently that I've seen was The Lost City. This is an action comedy, which that genre just never really works for me. Action, I like it to be serious. Comedy doesn't really work that well. Again, I like Superbad when it originally came out. Comedy movies typically don't get very good reviews from me. Just again, a lot of the comedy stuff doesn't strike me as funny. But we had Doctor Strange, Multiverse, nope, not gonna do it. Downton Abbey, looked all of it, no draw to it, that wasn't on until later. Firestarter, doesn't look too interesting. The Bad Guys, I can do anime flicks, but the last anime flick I watched, not anime, animated, but was probably, the most recent Toy Story, which I actually walked out of that one, so that wouldn't have got an F from me. Sonic the Hedgehog, not my thing. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. I was between this one and The Unbearable Weight. We already reviewed The Northman and then some Indian movie. So, with this one, my overall grade and impressions, well, let me read the overview. Was, it says, overview. Unfulfilled and facing financial ruin, actor Nick Cage accepts $1 million offer to attend a wealthy fan's birthday party. Things take a wildly unexpected turn when a CIA operative recruits Cage for an unusual mission, taking on the role of a lifetime. He soon finds himself channeling his most iconic and beloved characters to save himself and his loved ones. So overall, this one didn't really do anything for me. I'm not gonna say it was off-putting, but I'm gonna give it a C-. Just because there's a lot of references to some of his movies that he's had that I have not seen, so that's just missing it for me because I don't know what the references are. But again, really, just overall action comedy is just not a genre that really works for me at all. But so, plot synopsis. So that's my overall impression. If you want to go see it, if you have not seen it, then shut off this video now. But so we start off. There's two, again, Latinos. I'm not sure. I don't even know if you get a setting exactly where, but we'll just somewhere in Latin America, definitely Spanish speaking. Two people are watching a Nicolas Cage movie, Con Air, which did like Con Air. My favorite Nick Cage movie has to be what's it called? National Treasure. National Treasure was just fantastic. Can rewatch it now. I've watched it several times. I've watched the second one as well several times. So Nick Cage as the National Treasure character was fantastic. But they start off two Latinos watching Con Air. I did like Con Air as well. That's probably my second favorite Nick Cage movie. At least the ones that I remember. I've definitely not seen them all. But they're watching a TV show, or they're watching Con Air, and they get kidnapped. And so basically you have Nick Cage, he's the actor. His agent is Neil Patrick Harris, who, what is his name? Richard Fink. So Nick Cage is all down and out. You see the girl get kidnapped, and then you get to Nick Cage. He's trying to audition for a new play or a new part. He's trying to audition in front of a director. The director is like, nah. He just reads off, like improvises right there on the spot as he's trying to get into his car anyway to try to impress him. He ends up, he's divorced. He's got his Olivia Henson is his ex. She's got a nice British accent. I do like the British accent for what it's worth. But she's like, Nick Cage is kind of just wallowing. There's several scenes in this one where it's like Nick Cage talking to himself. At one point, he like makes out with himself and says, "I'm Nick Cage, motherfucker." It's just like those cutaway scenes were off-putting. just like Nick Cage talking to Nick Cage. But he's got a daughter, Addie, and she's turning 16, so he's gonna go to his birthday party. They go to Nick and his daughter are at a therapist meeting, basically just Addie's upset that Nick Cage makes his entire life about him, and she wants to not be a mold of her father. So they're at some therapy session where they're talking about just like Nick taking her to a movie she did not want to see. So that's kind of that. Then Addie has her 16th birthday party. Again, you have one of those cutaway scenes of Nick Cage talking to himself in traffic, and he's going back and forth with his agent about Neil Patrick Harris, his agent, at his daughter's birthday party, and he does not get the job that he improvised for, or the role. And so he gets drunk and he starts singing some song that he wrote for his daughter, and his wife ex is cringing because he's getting clearly drunk, taking over the 16th birthday party for himself. He plays some song. Nick Cage is not too good of a singer, apparently, but he plays some song, and then it's at first it's a real song, and then it's just he starts groveling about being upset and bitter about not getting a job or the role that he auditioned for. And so he gets a call from NPH that some rich dude, Avi, would pay $1 million to have him at his birthday party. And so the ploy is Avi is an olive oil producer, I think is what they say. But he goes over there. There is one scene I actually laughed at when he's talking with NPH. He's like, why does this guy want me? And he's like, I think he's just a fan. He's not going to want you to suck his dick. He's not going to want you to watch his wife suck his dick. And he's not going to want to watch you fuck his wife or something like that. And that scene I thought was pretty funny. But he agrees and he goes somewhere into Latin America from Los Angeles. So he gets there. You have the trailer scenes about meeting Avi. He's like, I'm Avi. And so they start to bond. At first, Nick Cage is, he's sleeping in. He's not trying to go to the cliffs with Avi. He's not trying to do anything. He's not super excited about being there. But he goes to the cliffs. Again, he tells Avi about, retiring from acting. And one of those scenes, again, clearly referencing some character Nick Cage has played about jumping off a cliff or something, and it's just a movie I had not seen. So they go to this cliff jumping spot where you jump off a cliff into the ocean, and he's trying to role play, get Nick back in acting. They jump off they jump off the cliff, and then they start palling around, broing out, drinking together, and he's probably there 3-4 days before the birthday party, and then the birthday party. And so he's like, Avi, he tells Avi, I wasn't going to come down here. I wasn't excited about coming down here. And then Avi's like, what did you think about my screenplay? Avi had sent NPH, Nick's agent, a screenplay, and Nick had not seen it. And he's like, I never got it. They didn't forward it to me. Send it to me now, and I'll read through it. So Avi does that. So then, what happens next? Well, at this point, I think, after they're hanging out a little bit, Nick Cage is going to get in his car one day, or just somewhere around the compound, and he gets kidnapped by 2 CIA agents. You meet Vivian and Martin. And they're basically, Avi is the head of this global dangerous arms dealer, which turns out it's his cousin. Lucas is the actual head of the thing. It's not, at this point not till later do you realize Lucas is the actual head of the organization. And so Nick's like, okay, I'll agree to help the CIA, even though I'm friends with Avi, because they kidnapped the girl in the beginning. They kidnapped the girl in the beginning just to influence an election somehow. So he agrees to do that. He tries to basically plant just some download data off some servers. At the birthday party comes, everyone's having a good time. They have some sort of EMP, electromagnetic pulse. The CIA does. They basically shut down the security for 4 minutes. So Nick goes in there, tries to start stealing stuff. One of the security guards sees a light from outside up in the window, comes up to get him. The CIA had some substance where if you touch the guy, they'll knock him out for however long. Nick accidentally touches his own face, So now he's going to be knocked out, but the security guy's coming up, so they're trying to coach him. He goes out of a window, comes back in the room after the guy leaves, and then that's kind of that, and he has some antidote that he, antidote to the poison or the drug, the narcotics, so he's neutralized, like he can go right back to the party, he's fine. So he goes back to the party, and he did not locate the girl that they're trying to find that was kidnapped. So, the CIA is like, stay longer, try to get to stay longer. So Javi's doing his birthday thank yous, and he's like, thanks, Nick Cage. And Nick's like, I really liked your movie screen. Let me stay here a little longer, and we'll write a movie together. So Javi's overjoyed. He says yes. He's got an assistant. I think it's Gabriela. Yes, Gabby is what they call her in the movie, I believe. But they're all excited that he's going to stay and work on Javi's film. And so the next day, they drop acid. They go into town to plot out their big great hit, their movie. And there's a scenario where they think they're tripping out on acid. They think two dudes are watching them, and then they're trying to escape the two dudes that aren't watching them at all. And so that's the trailer scene of them hopping over the stone fence, and then Javi just walks around. It's like we could have just walked around. So they're planning their movie. They have a day in town. They drive back to the compound. At this point, basically Vivian tells Nick Cage that someone in the criminal organization has made the CIA agents, and so if they've made them, they've probably made Nick as well. And so at this point, there's some scene where Nick's tells Avi about having trouble with connecting with his daughter, so Avi flies them out to basically connect with them. Nick Cage hears that the CIA has been made, so he's thinking Javi's brought his family to kill them. So he has not. And so he's basically just trying to get Nick to have time with his family. And so at this point, that's when you learn Lucas Gutierrez, who's also at the party throughout the movie. But then you learn he's the guy in charge. He's they play a recording. There's a scene where Nick is in the bathroom talking about doing spy stuff, and it's got recorded. And so they play that. I think it was Carlos, the muscle dude, for Lucas. And Javi's like, Lucas puts a gun to Avi's head. It's like, either I'm going to kill you or you're going to kill Nick. And so at the same time, Nick knows that they're on to him. So he goes to get, there's also a scene, Javi has some shrine for all Nick Cage stuff. Now they get another trailer scene with the two golden guns, about giving him $20,000 for it, which are real guns. So he goes and gets those two guns. Javi has a gun. Javi drives Nick out to the cliffs again. Nick's clearly aware that he's going to try to kill him. So they both pull guns on each other. Javi doesn't want to kill Nick. Nick doesn't want to kill Javi. And they both start getting shot at by Lucas's muscle people. So they run, they escape, kick a couple dudes off of motorbikes. And now they're kind of like on the same team. Nick learns that Javi is not actually in charge of the organization, and he just can't really leave the life. And that's why he's not formally with Gabby. So they get back there. I think they're trying to get the girl at this point, and how they do that is the kidnapped girl, as well as Nick's daughter Addie also gets kidnapped as well during that time. And so they're trying to figure out, Avi knows where the girls were probably at, and so they need to get in there. And to do so, Nick Cage dresses up as some drug dealer or criminal organization head that has not been seen in 15 years to meet with Lucas. And so he walks in there with him and his wife, Olivia, ex-wife, Olivia. He puts a knife to his throat, which is not really plot-wise, not really clear why, if he really thinks it's the Sergey, I think it's Sergio or Sergey is the other big drug dealer that's supposed to be meeting. And so he kind of gets away from that, fine, they're not onto him yet. And then he gets put into a room to talk about business later. And then he gets a gun. He knocks out one of the security guards, gets a gun. Carlos, the muscle dude, brings him to Lucas, and Lucas is he's on to Nick Cage at this point. And so Nick pulls the gun out of Lucas's belt, puts it to his head. He's surrounded by 4 muscle dudes. Avi comes running in with a gun as well. Saying basically he's going to die if
if they catch or that he's gonna die. He's got 4 people pointing guns at him, but he wants to. They found the girls, and he wants the girls to escape and his wife to escape. That's why Nick does that. And so he again has a quote from one of his movies that I have not seen, and he whacks a couple dudes, a couple of muscle dudes. Doesn't kill Lucas yet. Javi comes in, shoots a couple guys, and then they start escaping. And so they're on a chase. They're leaving. We have Javi, Nick, Addie, the kidnapped girl. I forget what her name was. We have Gabriella in with Javi in a car, and they're being chased by Lucas's guys. So Avi and Gabby say, they're just outside the embassy's protection, and they're going to slow down the trail, the muscle dudes coming for them by jumping out. So they get out, they got guns blazing. Avi's got the 2 golden pistols, Gabby's got some sort of, I don't know, Mac or a fucking rifle of some sort. I don't know, really Uzi type of deal. But you're not super educated on weapons. But Avi gets shot, Gabby does not. Avi does not die, but they slow him down enough. Nick literally drives through the gate of the embassy, and Lucas comes up to him and still gets a gun to his fucking face before the embassy people can intervene. And so one last scene is, well, not the last scene, but of the violence or of the chase. In the back, this Jeep type of vehicle, there's a knife. So Addie throws Nick the knife. Nick catches it without any hesitation, turns and stabs Lucas in the heart, and he's dead, and they're all safe. And so that's the end, kind of like the end of the chase, and then you see a bunch of applause at a movie where this is their relationship. Nick's and Avi's became the movie that they were going to write. So they're at an actual movie theater, getting awards, getting applauses for the premiere, and Nick decides he's going to go back and just hang out with his ex, Olivia. It's not sure if they get back together, but hang out with Olivia and his daughter, Addie. And he lets Addie pick the movie. And then Addie picks the movie, I forget which one it was called, but it was just whatever. It was the same movie. Nick and Avi watched the movie when they were bonding at the beginning of the movie, and it was the same one. So they watched the movie, and it's the end. So again, just action comedy, didn't really do much for me. Some funny parts, but just the whole thing. I was checking my phone a whole bunch throughout the whole time. It's only an hour and 45-minute runtime. So the action comedy just really doesn't hit my spots. But I gave it a C-. Won't call it off-putting, but certainly just whatever. So again, similar movies. The one that was like this similar, just like humor action recently was the Lost City, which I'm gonna go for some Sandra Bullock over some Nick Cage. Sorry, Nick, but character development again, just like the insecurity, the unbearable weight of massive talent of the great actors. And again, I do like Nick Cage, just not in this role or this type of movie. But again, just C- didn't do much for me. And that's about it. So thank you for watching my review of The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. And I do like Nick Cage. Thanks for watching.